Hi. Hi. Welcome to a brand new video on the Target Individual Program, the Target Individual Experience. Today, I want to discuss a few things. Not also my targeting, but other things that are happening in the news, in which proves that people are seriously under mind control. Okay? And the horrific things that are being done to people of color and the silence or the complacency of the public to not be angry. Okay, and the public has become so desensitized in the killing of unarmed black people by the hands of police officers. And so it is and I've said this before, this is conditioning. This is conditioning the American public to accept these things, and this is conditioning for black people in particular, to be very afraid of the police. Okay, but before I get into that, I want to discuss this, and then I'm going to talk about the things that have happened to me or are happening to me, and how it relates. Okay, so uh, it says coercive persuasion is not peaceful persuasion, and this comes from the website regainwork.org. This is a religious group awareness international network. Okay, now you guys know I don't believe in religion, but I am glad that some religious organizations are able to speak up and identify coercive persuasion or brainwashing, thought reform, if you want to call it those names, and are bringing awareness to what is happening within the churches, these cult organizations. Okay, so coercive persuasion is not peaceful persuasion. Programs identified with the above listed 7 tactics, which I've gone over and over again, have in common the element of attempting to greatly modify a person's self-concept, perception of reality, and interpersonal relations. When successful in inducing these changes, coercive thought reform programs also, among other things, create the potential forces necessary for exercising undue influence over a person's independent decision-making ability, and even for turning the individual into a deplorable agent for the organization's benefit without the individual meaningful knowledge or consent. Coercive persuasion program are effective. Sorry. Coercive persuasion program are effective because individuals experiencing the deliberate plan severe stress they generate can only reduce the pressure by accepting the system or adapting the behavior being promulgated by the purveyors of the coercion program. The relationship between the person and the coercive persuasion tactics are dynamic in that, excuse me, call. Okay. All right. So where was I? So it says the relationship between the person and the coercive persuasion tactics are dynamic in that while the force of the pressures, rewards, and punishment brought to bear on the person are considerable, they do not lead to a stable, meaningful, self-chosen reorganization of beliefs, or attitude. Rather, they lead to a sort of coercive, coerced compliance, and a situational required elaborate rationalization for the new conduct. Once again, in order to maintain the new attitudes or decision, sustain the rationalization, and continue to unduly influence a person's behavior over time, coercive tactics must be more or less continuously applied. And so, for those TIs out there who are going through this, here's your reality. The reality is that once you are put into this program, you will always be in this program until you die. Okay. Okay. A fiery hell and damnation, guilt-ridden sermon from the pulpit, or several hours with a high-pressure salesman, or other single instance of the so-called peaceful persuasion do not constitute the necessary chords and orchestration of a sequenced, continuous, coordinated, and carefully selected program of surreptitious coercion as found in a comprehensive program of coercive persuasion. Truly peaceful religious persuasion practice would never attempt to force, compel, and dominate the free wills or minds of its members through coercive behavioral techniques or covert hypnotism. They would have no difficulty coexisting peacefully with U.S. laws meant to protect the public from such practice. Looking like peaceful persuasion is precisely what makes coercive persuasion less likely to attract attention or to mobilize opposition. It is also part of what makes it such a devastating control technology. Victims of coercive persuasion have no signs of physical abuse, convincing rationalizations for the radical or abrupt changes in their behavior, a convincing sincerity, and they have been changed so gradually that they don't oppose it because they usually aren't aware of it. So what happens when you are aware of it, such as myself and other targeted individuals who have come forward because we realized and became aware of what was happening to us? Okay, deciding if coercive persuasion was used required case-by-case careful analysis of all the influence techniques used and how they were applied. By focusing on the medium of delivery and process used, not the message, and on the critical difference, not the coincidental similarities, which system was used became clear. The influence continuum helps make the difference between peaceful persuasion and coercive persuasion easier to distinguish. Okay, so it goes into the variables and stuff like that, but you know, just want people to understand. That's why I do the video, and that's why I try to show exactly what they have done and what they are doing, okay, as in part of this coercive persuasion program against me. Okay, and so interesting to read here. Actually, let me just read this part right here with the variables. Okay, not all tactics used in coercive persuasion type environment will always be coercive. Some tactics of an innocuous or cloaking nature will be mixed in, and I talk about mask and how they mask their targeting, but I'm able to pick up on it because, again, when you experience these things on a daily basis, and what I do is that I study it. I don't just experience it. I study my emotion when they do these things. I study the way my thought process is going. I look at my behavior, my reaction, their reaction to my reaction. So I look at these things. All right. Okay. Not all individual exposed to coercive persuasion or thought reform programs are effectively coerced into becoming participant. How individual suggestibility, psychological and physiological strength, weakness, and differences react with the degree of severity continuity, and comprehensiveness in which the various tactics and content of a coercive persuasion program are applied determine the program effectiveness and or the degree of severity of damage caused to its victims. So again, we are all damaged by this, whether it be psychologically, particularly when the coercive persuasion is mostly psychological. Sometimes it is physical because they'll poison your food. That's why I stopped eating at certain places because, when I eat there, I continuously get food poisoning, so I don't eat those places anymore, right? They will bump into you. They will try to cause you to have an accident. Like when I'm driving, okay, there'll be people driving in front of me who will drive in 2 lanes, right? And then when they go back into their lane, and then when I get close to them, they will go back to driving in 2 lanes. And if it's, let's say there's a big bus or truck that's parked up, to try to get me to hit those vehicles, right? And this is what they do. Okay, so for example, in the United States versus Lee, 455 U.S. 252-257-258 in 1982, the California Supreme Court found that when a person is subject to coercive persuasion without his knowledge or consent, he may develop serious and sometimes irreversible physical and psychiatric disorders up to and including schizophrenia, self-mutilation, and suicide. Now, a lot of TIs, a few TIs that used to come on my call on TalkShoe have committed suicide, okay, because of what was being done to them, okay? And so they tried to get me to commit suicide, okay, but it didn't work, okay? It didn't work. Regardless of whatever I'm going through, that's not something that I would do. All right, so I'm just going to end this one here, just to talk about that. So now we talk about the psychological program. Let's talk about some of the directed energy weapons that they have been developed and they have used against targeted individuals. Okay, so Wired, 2006. It says the name of the article is "Say Hello to the Goodbye Weapon." Okay, non-lethal weaponry. Sandia researchers Willie Morse and James Pasico fine-tuned a small-size active denial system, also known as the ADS. Okay, so I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I just want to talk about, just read certain aspects, right? Okay, so the beam produced what experimenters call the goodbye effect, or prompt and highly motivated escape behavior. In human tests, most subjects reach their pain threshold within 3 seconds, and none of the subjects could endure more than 5 seconds. So imagine how painful it is being hit with these weapons. So you have a lot of target individuals talks about, they're being burned and stuff like that. They're being hit with directed energy weapons, such as the ADS, the active denial system, okay? And it has become so small, right? So look at the picture of this, right? It may seem big to you, but remember, this was, over 10 years ago, probably most likely 20 years, okay, ago, right? So, what was it? Okay, here we go. All right, so this weapon, again, they claim that it's non-lethal. That's what they like to say. Just as the tasers, when the tasers came out, they said it was non-lethal until people started dying, right, from the electric shocks given off by tasers. Some people who had pacemakers and get shot with it died. Some people get heart attacks, okay, because of the jolt of electricity. So they don't properly test these things. And if they do properly test these things, they're not going to give you the full scope of the danger of these weapons, right? And they are weapons, okay? So let's read this for a minute. In more than 10,000 exposure, there were 6 cases of blistering and 1 instance of second-degree burn in a laboratory accident, the documents claim. Now, this is their documented You know, we all know that these people lie. We know that the pharmaceutical lies. They doctored information to claim that their drugs were safe, and we know that they were not, because people start dying from these drugs. Okay, so again, we know that not to believe these things. Okay, so the ADS was developed in complete secrecy for 10 years at the cost of $40 million. Its existence was revealed in 2001. Okay, 2001. That's when the existence of it was revealed. So they had been developing this weapon way past, you know, 30 years, 40 years, probably even 50 years. Okay? And in the 90s, they start using it on certain individuals within the public sphere. Okay? That's when people first start talking about this stuff. All right? From the early 90s. Okay? So it says, its existence was revealed in 2001 by news report, but most details of ADS human testing remain classified. So why was the testing results classified? Got to think about that, right? They reveal the technology, but they classified the testing results. Okay? Think about that. All right? Now, again, let's talk about that's something that's very personal to me, being that I was a microchip in 2002, and you know, this is how they continue to remotely monitor me, or what is called remote neural monitoring, right? And again, this article from October 24th, 2006. This is the University of Washington. Okay, researchers at the University of Washington are working on an implantable electronic chip that may help establish new nerve connection in the part of the brain that controls movement. The most recent study to be published in the November 2006 edition of Nature showed such a device can induce brain changes in monkey lasting more than a week. Strengthening the weak connection through this mechanism may have potential in the rehabilitation of patients with brain injury, stroke, or paralysis. Okay, I'm just going to leave that one right here. I want you guys to go onto this website, the washington.edu. I'll post the link in the video section. Okay, so you guys can go to the link yourself. But I'm not going to read up everything here. Okay, and let's see what else. Okay, so here's a PDF called Reciprocal System. The mind has no firewall, and it's interesting because I love this part right here. Okay, they say knowledge is power and ignorance is bliss, and I've come to notice that humanity in general seeks happiness more than anything else, and is all too willing to sacrifice knowledge for that blissful ignorance. And that bliss takes many forms. It does not take a lot of effort to trace all these provider bliss systems back to our very own government. Okay, and he talks about the Anunnaki, which I'm not going to get into. You know, that's just something that you know other people want to believe, but you know it's fine. Okay, and those systems include smoking, drinking, recreational drugs, charity, religious devotion, political power, corporate power. It's quite a long list, and now includes iPhones. I think he meant to say premium apps, but he says freemium. Premium apps, music players, and all sorts of electronic device. But no surprise here, because like their blue blood ancestors, I guess he's talking about the Anunnakis, but like I said, this is just, you know, his belief. They want controllable slaves, not an evolving species. But I love that, you know, because this is exactly what our government has done to us, and corporate has done to us. Okay, the tech company has done this to us. Right? Okay, so let's get to the video. Okay. Oh, before I get to the video, I want to talk about this right here. I saw the video of this Texas police officer who shot this woman. Okay, now apparently they live in the same apartment complex, and he's been harassing her. He was trying to arrest her, don't know for what. She was saying, "Why are you doing this to me? Why are you harassing me?" Um, but he didn't know that he was being recorded. See, when these police officers, think that no one is watching, that's when you see their true self. And these are basically psychopathic murderers. Okay, and so he tried to taser her. She fell to the ground, and he tried to pick her up. She kicks him, like kick him away, and she says, "I'm pregnant." He shot her 5 times, not once, not twice, but 5 times. Okay, yet no outrage. Okay, I guess the fact that she had a mental problem is reason why people are saying, "Oh, she was crazy and mentally ill," and this shows you the disconnect in which society has from people who have mental problems. Right? Is that and this is the government doing this, okay? In terms of manipulating the public to look at people who have mental illness as not human and don't have any rights, okay? People can like they do that with me. I was sitting in the car this morning. The perps walking by, and they're like, "Oh, he's driving me crazy, or he's driving me nuts." They'll say these things as they walk by me, which I just push it to the side because they're the crazy ones. And you really think about it, okay? To do what they're doing, you cannot be in your right mind. So you have the crazies acting as if they're the same people, and then you may have people who they call crazy who are actually the same people trying to expose these crazy people, okay? So, but this is horrendous. This is totally horrendous. No outrage. The officer been placed on leave, and then the police department spokesperson said that the person who shot the video uh, disrespected the process. How they disrespected the process, Mr. Representative of the police department? I'll tell you what. Had the police got a hold of the video before the public would never see the video. They would never see the videos. Just as the Sandra Bland case, where now 4 or 5 years later, they just releasing the video that she recorded when the officer stopped her. You cannot trust the police, but people continue to trust the police because, again, the police have created this super cult, right? They created this cult. Those police officers who are members of religious organization, they've created these super cults, right? And so you don't have as much outrage because these people who are in these cults are being given favors, money, cars, all this stuff. But just wanted to touch on that. Okay, so now let's go to the video because, of course, I had to catch them uh, when they least expected because I've been laying low. Like I said, they've been targeting me differently, more spaced out to not make it look so frequent, so that I cannot get any type of video footage or evidence of a consistency in what they're doing. But again, because I been in this program for so long and I've been studying it, there's nothing that they will do, well, almost nothing now that they can do that get past me because I'm very versed and very aware in what it is that they are doing and they have done. Okay, so this video here started out. This was early this week, I believe. Just coming back from dropping Pam to work, and for some reason I didn't record, even though there was a heavy police presence on my way to take her to work. But on my way back, um, I saw this police vehicle coming for us, so I started recording at this point. Okay. Okay. Okay, let's skip past. Okay. All right. So we get to this. Well, I get to this point right here, and then what you'll see a police van. I'm gonna let the video. I'm gonna let the video play. Okay, because I don't want to miss anything. You see the police van. Okay, watch what's gonna happen. He makes the U-turn. You see, he makes the U-turn right here. Now you see the woman opens her bag, close it. She starts touching her clothing. Then she walks across the street. She does that. Okay, let's do it again. Because remember, everything is sequenced and it's all planned and coordinated, right? So here she comes as the police is making the U-turn. She opens her bag. She doesn't take anything out of her bag now. She opens her bag, close it. Okay. She didn't take anything out of her bag. Okay, now you're gonna see she starts touching her clothing. Puts her hands in her pocket. When she's crossing in front of me, she does this. Okay. Now this Jeep in front, you see this blinking light. You're allowed, once you stop, you can proceed. It says after stop, uh, you may proceed, flashing lights only. Okay, so he stays there. So I'm like, okay, I need to get around this guy because I don't know what this guy is up to. And so this guy goes, and of course the light changed solid as he goes. Now, so he just ran that red light. Now you would think that the police van would turn and follow him to give him a ticket. No, they're waiting. Okay, nope. So now, again, and I'm just focusing on the guy that ran the red light. So now you see the guy coming with the suitcase, and again, this is a subliminal that they love to send about being deported and all this stuff, right? So the minute the guy with the suitcase walks across, okay, now they're going to turn, okay. Now they didn't go after the guy who ran the red light, and you guys clearly saw he ran the red light. Uh, and just in case you didn't see it, let's go back again. Now also, I want you to look at when she crossed the street. She takes her middle finger and she taps her forehead, okay? And then she brushes her hair to the side. Okay, so right after he steps off the sidewalk, he looks over at the police vehicle, and I guess that was the signal for them. And now you'll see they turn in front of me. Okay, and this is after the guy, ran the red light. I'm sorry. Let's do this. Let me take out the webcam video so you guys can see. Hopefully it'll show it. I'm hoping that it'll show it. Okay. So that light is solid now. Okay, that light is solid, meaning that he can't go. And normally, police cars would be parked up there, and people would run this red light, and they would get a ticket. Clearly, he runs the red light. Okay, he kept going. Look. Okay, now watch. As he looks over, now they're going to make the U-turn. Okay, so that was that video. Again, this is, how they love to send subliminal messages. And again, you know, what they've done now is that they've spaced out the use of the police vehicles, so that way it doesn't look as if, I'm constantly being bombarded with the sight of police vehicles, right? So, like I said, they will always change up their tactics, and they'll switch it up, right? Because the one thing they don't want is for us to have any type of evidence of the harassment that they're doing. Okay, so let me see at this video. Again, I was coming back from dropping Pam to work. Let me see. Okay, and again, she walks across the street, sticks her finger in her ears. She looks at me. And the guy in the red over here. Watch it now. I'm going to show you guys again. They're very good at trying to mask what it is that they're doing. So a lot of sticking the finger in the ears have been happening lately. Whenever they see me, they're in my presence. So she looks at me, sticks her finger in her ears. Okay, guy in the red steps off the corner. He gets back on. Again, the light had changed. He could have crossed the street, but that's not their intent. It's to remain at the corner so that I can see them while they're psychologically harassed with the hand signals, the color that they wear. Okay. All right. So this was that same day, the two videos that you just saw, and picked up the kids from the after school. And I didn't record anything, but this guy, I wanted to see if he was going to stop doing this, because I was across the street and he was standing there, he looking right at me, and he started doing this. So I wanted to see if he was, brave enough to do it, and he was, which is good, because you know what, I get to expose him. Okay, so he's standing there, of course, because this is what they do. All right. Okay, and I ended the video too prematurely, because this woman here started doing the same thing until I started recording her, and then she stops. All right, so it goes to show you that some of them don't care, and some of them you know, I guess, do care that they get put on blast or videotape engaging in this cultic behavior in this coercive persuasion program, this criminal coercive persuasion program that they have uh, agreed to participate in. Okay. All right. So, all right, let's go to the next video. So this is this morning. So all that video that you're going to see right now is from this morning, in which I'm taking the kids to school. Okay. All right. So the minute I show up, you'll see this black vehicle pull up in front of me, and in the license plate, you'll see the number 32. So now they're rehashing that number again, because it's a trigger, because I've been brainwashed, and they have placed a trigger and anchor uh, in my subconscious. Okay. Now, as you see, the Hispanic lady walking, and she does this. Okay, this is her doing that right there. I had to pause it so you guys can see. And then she stops. Okay, and this is a whole skit that's going to play out here. Okay, and because they have many members in this cult, it is nothing for them to engage in to set up these type of street theater anywhere. Okay. Okay. Now I want you to watch the woman. See as she's walking. See how she sticks her fingers in the ears. Okay, let's go back slightly. You'll see her. Now she sees me, and there she goes, sticking her finger, twisting her finger in her ear. Be right back. Okay, just have to answer the door. My daughter yesterday took the. Oh, forget my headphones. Okay. So yeah, so I was saying my daughter yesterday, she was in the bathroom and she took the the toilet paper holder out, and it fell in the toilet. And instead of her coming to get me, she decides that she's going to flush the toilet down. Okay, that's what she decides, and then she comes with the the core from the toilet paper, the brown core, and she comes and she's holding it in front of me. That look at her face, and she's like, the thing fell in the toilet. I said, okay. I went to the toilet and she flushed the toilet. So that was the superintendent had to come and snake the toilet, which he damaged the toilet. I'm like, come on, dude. But again, they haven't participated in the targeting, so I guess he wants not. Well, I'm not gonna buy the toilet. Cam's gonna buy it. You know what I'm saying? So this is her place, and she constantly reminds me of that. So she's gonna have to spend money, I guess, to get a brand new toilet because he damaged the toilet. It's all scratched up and everything. And you know, because he was holding the snake the wrong way. And I said, "Why are you holding the snake like that? It's the other way. You have to, you know." So he damaged the toilet like that, and it was intentional, you know. But anyway, let's get back to the video. So here she is again, uh, you know, sticking the finger in her ears. Okay. Now you see this woman running, coming now. She's running, coming. Okay. Why is she running? Okay, I'm gonna tell you why. Because again, when the sequence of the timing gets thrown off, they have to run to catch up, right? So the reason why she's running is because again, this is a planned stage act, acts. So you'll see the young kid, you'll see how they use children in the young teen in my targeting. So she's running, then she stops when she gets into reach. Okay, so you see this young kid with the hand signal. He is putting his thumb on his index, or pointing finger. Remember what I talk about, um, what that represents, right? Earlier on in my targeting what that represents. Okay, and so he starts doing these hand signals. He put his thumb in, and you'll see his middle finger sticking out. Okay, and then he does the upside down peace sign. Okay, and then she comes, you see her, she bows her head, and she touches her shirt. She's wearing a yellow shirt. Okay, now you'll see this guy that's going to be coming across, and how you'll see his finger, he rests it on his sweater. Okay, like this. Okay, you know, I talk about how they used to make their finger like a gun and point to me, as you know, to simulate me getting shot. And it's a constant threat, you know, the threat of the police officer who was initially involved in my targeting and was stalking me for many months, uh, at my job. Um, that I guess, you know, if he gets a, because he done this to me, he participated in it. He was the initial person that first started stalking me and targeting me. Okay, and that if he gets arrested or what have you, that I'm going to get killed. This is the type of subliminal message that they send. Okay, and then with the palm open behind the back as he's crossing the street. Okay, so they know exactly what it's doing. And then you see this woman here as he goes across the street. Remember, this is all planned and all station. Not station, but it's all, you know, engineered. It's all coordinated. After he walks across the street, you'll see this woman behind here. She sticks her hands in her ears. Okay, and as she gets close, okay, she's gonna take her hands. All right there. Okay, see her raise her hands up. Okay, again, showing me the palm of her hand as she pulls back her hair behind her ears. Okay, it's all orchestrated, all planned. Okay, so I'm back in the black on the block, and getting ready to uh, take Pam to work. And before I begin, I want to give a background. Yesterday, the kids had a parents teachers conference at their school, and so we went, me and Pam and the kids. And the minute we got there, they started talking to me. The minute I walk into the school, from the school safety officer to the principal to the faculty members, the administrative members within the school, they all started talking to me, sticking their finger in their ears. And not kidding, the minute I walked into the school, the principal gets on the intercom, and then she starts saying, "Did anybody lose a key? Did anybody lose keys with a yellow keychain?" See, they love to use colors, right? The color yellow to incinerate. I'm scared. I'm afraid. I am not afraid. If you check out my social medias account, I'm not afraid. I'm not running anywhere. I haven't moved to another state. I haven't changed my address. Okay, you see me out here in the streets, videotaping, exposing what it is that's been done to me. Now, does that look and sound like somebody who's afraid? Okay, maybe in the beginning, yes, because of what was happening to me, I had no idea, no clue. Uh, understanding that your mind, people are reading your conversations in your mind, and then as you walk by, they're repeating your internal thinking out loud to you. Okay, yeah, that was scary as hell, and yes, I was scared. Okay, big time. Okay, okay. Also, waking up in the middle of the night at the exact same minute, different hour, but the exact same minute. I wake up. There was a couple times where I wake up every hour at 1:32, 2:32, 3:32, 4:32. It got to a point where when I woke up at night, I was even afraid to look at the clock, because that was the first thing I looked at uh, when I wake up, was the clock on the cable box. Okay, so yeah, that was frightening as shit. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, it was. Okay, but after understanding and realizing what was happening to me, I've dedicated my life, myself, to uh, expose what's being done, and the deception and the trick and the non-consensual human experimentation taking place, and the use of this coercive persuasion program to justify or to uh, discredit, to surveil uh, myself as well as other targeted individuals, and subject us to this level of harassment, this level of invasion of privacy, uh, this violation of our civil, constitutional, and human rights. Okay, and so yeah, so that was happening. So yesterday, like I said, went to the parents teacher conference. The minute I walked in, they started talking to me. The principal got on the intercom talking about, did anybody use some yellow, some keys with some yellow keychain, what have you. And then the fire truck shows up, right? So I start hearing the fire trucks outside. I mean, it's the usual, noise campaign, subliminal tactics that they do. Okay. And then last night, again, and of course, when we were in the school, we were all being microwave. Pam started targeting me. The kids' teacher started targeting me. We got back in the house, and I sat down. Ethan took off his clothes, and he came right up to me, and he did this right in front of me without even saying a word. He came, and I said to him, and I told him, "Boy, take your finger out of your nose." Okay? And then after he got startled, because I told him, it just looked like he was in a trance, and he got startled. He turns away, walked off with his hands behind his back and his palm open out. Okay? That just to tell you how they use these technologies to control people's mind. Microwave technology, okay, to control people's mind. And that's what people don't understand. You know, like I've read so many stories of people harming their children because they claim their children are demonic and have the demon in them because they don't understand what's being done to them. And particularly if they are very religious, they will think everything in a spiritual type of demonic aspect. Okay? But there's nothing spiritual or demonic about what's happening. This is mind control. Mind control. This is evil being done by evil men and women operating in the highest level of the government who've developed and created these type of technologies, these type of weapons for mass subjugation. Okay, this type of weapons, along with psychological programs and pharmaceutical drugs, to control and make you and I docile. And for those of us who have awakened to the BS, they're willing to do whatever it takes to silence us. Okay. So then last night, now again, everything was fine between me and Pam, and we went to bed. She fell asleep first because she said she was tired. Got into bed. She got up, and so I went to put my arms around her, and then she's like, "Don't touch me! Don't touch me!" And I'm like, "What's going on?" Like, "Don't touch me." She's like, "I gotta take a poop." I'm like, "That doesn't make any sense. So because you gotta take a poop, I can't touch you? You laying in the bed, you know?" So then she gets up, went to the bathroom, and she comes back, and she's like, "It smelled bad in here." So all this time that you were in the bed, you was in your room before I came in there, it wasn't smelling bad, right? But yet I come in, mind I had just taken a shower and everything, so I know it wasn't me. Okay. And she's like, "Oh, it smells bad in here." And then instead of spraying uh the room, she takes this vanilla scent body spray and starts spraying it all over herself. So I guess we know why it was smelling bad. Right? So then, like I said, she was like, "Oh, don't touch me, what have you." So I was like, "Okay, fine. You know what? I'll go sleep on the couch." I said to her, I said, "Are we doing this again?" Because again, you recognize the pattern. I recognize the pattern. It's just as, being in this program, you recognize the pattern of the behavior of these perpetrators, right? So I can always tell, when it is that they're going to start targeting me, when they're going to start using the police to start targeting me, depending on the subliminal message that they're sending me, right? And so, I want to sleep on the couch. And I got up this morning. I went into her room to iron the kids' clothes. She would not open her eyes. So now, remember, she had to be to work at 9 o'clock. Okay, I went to iron the kids' clothes around 7:30. Okay, usually when I walked in the room, she picks her head up, right? But when she does that, she'll start like, putting her hands on the pillow with the palm facing up. As I walked in the room, and she looks at me again, and I'm like, okay, that's just a conditioned response in what they've done to her. But today was different because today she did not get out of bed. Okay, and she went to bed very early. She went to bed around 9:30. She was sleeping by then. She got back up around minutes to 1, and she got back into bed about half an hour later, right? Because she woke me up. So I know she got some pretty good sleep. So, but again, she laid in the bed now, not saying a word. Okay, then she got up and she didn't come into the living room because I was getting the kids dressed. Normally she come in and she say good morning. She did not at all. She went straight into the bathroom, took a shower because she was trying to avoid me. Okay, so when she does stuff like this, it's like it makes me feel like, yeah, she knows what's going on, right? Because or or unless she knew what she did last night was wrong. Okay, and I've told her about this already because there's other times she's literally, I go to hug her, not to be intimate, but you sleeping next to your woman, you want to, you'll put your arms around her, what have you. And she just, the last time she did that, she just pushed me. She just turned and pushed. She's like, "Stop! Don't touch me." I'm like, okay, fine, what have you. So, I was like, all right, what have you. So now this morning, now, I'm sitting outside because I was waiting, not to take her to work now, because I really didn't intend to take her to work. But she came knocked in the car, and then she's like, "Can you take me to work?" And I was like, "Okay, whatever. That's fine. That's fine. You know, I should have let her ass take the bus. Okay, but she's always late. So if you're taking the bus, she would have gotten to work around 9:30, and she had to be at work for 9 o'clock. So here we are. We're driving to work, and let me just go forward here. And then we get to, is it this point? Hold up, let's go back. So then, to try to justify her behavior, she pulls up an article that she found online that says when couples cannot sleep together, or whatever. I'm like, I'm fine sleeping next to you. You're the one that have the problem. If you're trying to justify that to me, I can understand that, but it's the way you go about it. You're being rude and disrespectful about it. Okay, that's the difference. You know what I'm saying? If he can come, those couples, I'm sure they come to a conclusion. But I'm sure those couples are affectionate towards each other. You know what I'm saying? Or the other person is not pushing the other person because they can't, telling the other person, "Oh, don't touch me." You know, there's a difference. Okay, so this is part of our conversation. I can't make it play for too long. No. So here she says it's so hard to keep defending my own space, and I'm like, when you're in a relationship, you're, I mean, we don't basically we practically live together because most of the time I'm over here, I spend the night over here, and even on my weekends that I'm supposed to go home just to relax by myself, I'm still over here, okay, because she's so tired, and and I know if I leave, I don't know what happened to the kids. I mean, they will turn this apartment into, especially my daughter, she will cause a mess. And when I come Monday, I have to clean up, and I have a bad back. And Pam would let her do it, and Pam would not clean up at all. She would not clean up. Her attitude is like, she doesn't want to do it. Nigel do it. Okay? Leave piles of dishes in the sink. Okay? Bathroom's dirty, bathtub dirty, sink dirty, toilet dirty, you know, and I have to come and clean it. And I have a bad back. By the time I spend an hour and a half cleaning up this living room, and this living room is not that big, but the mess that my daughter makes takes me an hour and a half. Sometimes I have to get on my hands and knees to pick up stuff because I can't bend all the way down. And by the time I'm done, my back is hurting me. So sometimes I can't even mop or, clean up the foyer, and then I leave the kitchen for another day, and then the bathroom for another day. Because my back start hurting me, it hurts. Okay, so my thing is this: you can, if you're in a relationship, you're living together, or you're practically living together. Okay, you're sleeping in the same bed. You can't turn around and say to the other individual, "Well, I need space. Why don't you go sleep on the couch?" And I've done this for years. Okay, we've been together for going on uh, 11 years, right? Right now, we're kind of iffy, because she's like, "Well, I don't know what I want now," and blah, 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 all this stuff, right? Because all of a sudden now, she got a job as a nurse after helping her, and supported her going to college, and now, at times I feel like she's turning her nose up at me, right? Okay, there was one time where her coworker was having a barbecue, and she didn't invite me. And I said to her, "You're not gonna invite me?" And she's like, "No." She's like, "I don't want to mix my personal life with my work life." I'm like, "Really? Really?" Okay, because I remember when I was working, and I had a Christmas party. You invited yourself. I mean, I invited you. You didn't say no. You know, When she told me that, she don't know what she want, and my cousin invited me to a barbecue, you know what I'm saying? She invited herself. When her friends invite her out to things, functions, she never invites me. Okay? She just invites somebody else. She don't invite me. So, this is the type of stuff that I go through, being a target, and understanding, the personality of the person that you're with, the type of things that they do, the behavior that they engage in, because they think that you don't know them, right? They think that uh, somehow you don't know them. But if you've been with somebody for 11 years and you don't know that person, then you haven't been listening. And trust me, I know her. And I know when she starts acting a certain way, something is just not right. Something is up. And usually when I confront her about it, sometimes she lie about it, and I've caught her in lies. So it's difficult for me because we have two young kids, and being in this coercive persuasion program, and knowing that the subliminal threats they send to my kids, I want to be around them to protect them. Okay. And regardless of my feelings for her, I can't, as a person, not just as a man, but as a person, as a human being, you know, I'm not going to put up with disrespect and abuse over and over again. Because at some point, you know what I'm saying, I might get to the point where I get upset and start disrespecting her, which I don't want to do. Okay. And that would not be good. Okay. So for the most part, like I said, look, there are certain things about me, especially being a TI, is very hard for people who are not TIs to understand and even deal with, particularly the psychological damage in which they have caused us. Okay. And so it is hard. So I give her credit for that. She put up with a lot, but I also put up with a lot. Okay. And from her standpoint, is all about her. Like for some reason, she's telling me, well, I was focusing. I'm like, no, you was never focused on me. You never even believe what I told you when I told you that I was a target individual that was being experimented on, and I was put into coercive persuasion. She straight up told me that she don't believe me. When I was going through my psychological breakdowns, she just used to ignore me, and I would have to leave just to go home so I can have a peace of mind because of the target and we're being microwaved, and I didn't want to, the situation to escalate, because every time I tell her, I say, listen, you're targeting me. Can you just please just leave me alone for a few? And she would get upset. You know what I'm saying? Instead of sympathizing with me and saying, okay, hey, what am I doing that you think that I'm targeting you? She never approached it like that. It was always, well, I'm not doing nothing, and this is all you, and blah, 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 and such and such. You know what I'm saying? And so me, I knew that she liked to sleep alone. So for the most part, I would sleep on the couch, unless she wants to be intimate. Then she's like, okay, now you can come in. What have you. So that was the dynamic. You know what I'm saying? And when you love somebody, you try to make them happy, right? Okay, that's what you try to do. You try to make them happy. So and you also got to do some reflecting on your own self too. But there are some people who cannot do that. Okay, I'm one of those people where I can reflect on my behavior and try to make changes to better the relationship. Dealing with somebody who doesn't have that ability, who only see things through their uh, uh, view and is not empathetic or sympathetic to what another individual, their partner, is going through at those times, because I've always been supportive. Okay, so that was happening. So for, like I said, I told her finally, 2 years ago, I said, listen, I'm not sleeping on the couch anymore. And the minute I said that, I started sleeping in the bed, problem started. And she's blaming me. I don't get enough sleep. I said, because you don't go to bed on time, or at least have a schedule where you can go to bed early. You have to go to work for 9 a.m. Okay, there are times when she come home and she'll go to sleep and she'll wake up at 4 in the morning and she'll be up until like 6 and then go back to sleep, or 3 in the morning and wake up at 6 to go back to sleep. And then she's like, I'm so tired. And I always got to hear this. I said, because when you get in, okay, don't go to sleep right away. Okay, if you get in at 7, go to sleep at 10. You have what, 3 hours of downtime. But no, her downtime has to be more than the time that she actually goes to sleep, or she's asleep, right? So her downtime is like, 7 till 1, and then she goes to sleep after 1 and wake up, till 8 o'clock or what have you, and she got to be up for 9, so she's always late. And I try to try to show her these things that say, hey, there's a reason why you're also stressed out, not just work. And then she tries to say, I stress out. This may be true, but you're also stressing yourself out by not going to sleep at a decent time and getting a decent amount of rest. Okay. And so, that was that. So, she loves to sleep. She loves to sleep. And, she's telling me, I couldn't sleep because you toss and turn. I said, listen, there are a lot of times when I get up in the middle of the night because I couldn't sleep because you're snoring. Okay. Or you may get up in the middle of the night, turn on the light, turn on the TV, wake me up, get on your tablet. You don't put headphones on. You wake me up. You have no consideration when it comes to that. But yet you're trying to tell me because I'm tossing and turning, I'm sleeping, I don't know what I'm doing, that I'm keeping you awake. If that's the case, just say, hey, Nigel, you're tossing and turning. Can you try not to do that? Okay, wake me up or something. You know what I'm saying? But, hey, that's what it is. But anyway, let's continue. Right, so that's what she told me last night. She said, we can sleep on the bed, but do not touch me. And I said to her, listen, I didn't put my arms around you to have sex with you because we rarely had sex, okay? We probably have sex probably twice a month. If I'm lucky, maybe 4 times a month or 5 times a month. That's it. Okay? All right? And then she wants to tell me that I should control my sexual urges. I'm like, okay, well, trust me, I control it very well. Okay? Because to be with someone and you're only being intimate, for the most part, 2-3 times a month, that's ridiculous. Okay? And I didn't go out there and cheat on her or anything like that. Okay? But, she's telling me this, but yet, she has all this energy all of a sudden because she's like, oh, I'm always tired. But yeah, you have always energy to be up late. When your friends call you, they want to go out, you go, which is fine. You know what I'm saying? But don't tell me that you're always tired, because you're not always tired. Because you'll tell me you're tired and your friends call you and say, hey, let's go with this, and you get up and you'll go. So how tired are you, right? So she literally told me we can sleep on the same bed, but don't touch her. Right. So last week, we were sleeping. I put my arms around her. That was fine. This week, all of a sudden, it changed. Sometimes dealing with her is like, sometimes I said to myself, what have they done to her psychologically? Like, is she now have what do you call it? Trying to find a word. It's not bipolar personality disorder. I forgot the name, but there's some type of personality disorder, right? Where people from one week should be cool, or one day should be cool, the next day will be like, don't touch me. You know what I'm saying? And it's so frequent. It's so frequent. So it's hard dealing with that stuff. On top of that, dealing with my targeted and what I go through out there, dealing with the noise campaign, all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? And then, again, being the primary caretaker of our kids. Because they're with me, 95% of the time throughout the year. 95% of the time throughout the year, our kids are with me. Okay? Okay, so now she's like, because she's like, well, I had to take a poop. So because, okay, if you have to take a poop, they'll say, hey, can you move your arm? I gotta go take a poop. You're not gonna just turn it to the person and say, don't touch me. We can sleep on the same bed. Just don't touch me. You know what I'm saying? And then she's like, um, she's like, well, there are times I don't want to have sex, uh, but I do it because you was like, oh, can we just do a quickie, please, please, please? I'm like, listen, we're in a relationship and I'm sexually starved, and I'm being honest here, right? Like seriously, sexually starved. Like, I remember during the summer we don't even have sex because the kids are with me the entire summer. Okay, while she's out there doing her thing. Okay. Now, some people be like, you know what, Nigel, you're stupid. I would have left her a long time ago. You see, I'm not that person. Okay, I have 2 kids, and their well-being is more important to me. Right? Because what she started doing recently also is they've manipulated her, conditioned her. So now she's doing these stare campaign at my kids. Like she'll just like we'll be walking, she'll look at me, and then she'll stare at my son Ethan, stare at our son. Okay, like how these perpetrators out there do. Right? And maybe she's just doing that to manipulate me into sticking around. Not to say that I don't love her, because I do. But the fact is, like I said, they have been, you know, using these other kids in my children's school to bully them. Adults engage in staring campaign against my kids. And so it's like, I feel like I have to be here to protect them. Because for the most part, really, I would rather just be home. If I have to deal with this on a daily basis, and it's basically a daily basis that I have to deal with this. Okay? And because she has alopecia, she blames it on me. Or I'm stressed out. But she's not looking at all things that she's doing for her to get stressed out. You work as a nurse. When you come home, you stay up late for the most part. You go to bed after 1. You claim you're tired, right? The few times that we're going to be intimate, you're like, oh, I'm so tired. But okay, let me clean up my bed and then I'll call you. And you know what time that is? 1 o'clock at night. And then I got to get up at 6:30. She has to get up. She gets up around 7:40, 7:50. All right. So of course she's tired, but she doesn't see that. And no matter how many times I try to point it out to her, she doesn't see that. And, I started watching a lot of videos on narcissistic personalities, right? And not to say that she's narcissistic, but she has some of those qualities. Just like I may have had some of those qualities, but I'm not a full-blown narcissist. We all have narcissistic tendencies, and some things about us may be narcissistic. But if you on a scale of 1 to 10, if you have 2 of those criteria or 3 of those criteria, you're not a narcissist. They're just certain things that you need to work on. But if you're like full-blown narcissist, 7, 8, 9, 10 traits, you're full-blown, and it's very unlikely that you will be able to change your own behavior and realize your narcissism, right? And so there's certain things that I see that I'm like, okay, and like I said, because I care about her, I'm trying to understand her personality, and just by looking at the things that she do and her behavior towards I deal with you with honesty and straight up. Okay, and I expect the same thing in return. And when she's being sneaky, I can tell. Okay, and I don't judge her. I just want her to be honest. Because if you're a TI, you want people to be honest towards you, right? But people are not. They're silent or they lie to you. Okay, and as a TI, you have to keep our circle really, really small. Okay, and she's part of my circle, and I'm trying to get to her, to reach her, to say, look, this has been happening to me. I've told you about this from the very beginning. I've been very honest with you about it. We had ups and downs because of the targeting and me accusing you of targeting me and all this stuff. And whether you did or not, that's still up in the air. Okay, but I had to change my behavior in terms of accusing her of that. Same thing I used to do with other TIs early on in my targeting, and I had to change that behavior. Okay, and so I had to understand. So by understanding her and getting to understand her, getting to know her, throughout the years, I say, okay, fine. You know what? I'm kind of leaning on more towards the fact that, yeah, I know we're microwave at time with the mind control technology. So a big part of it could be that. But then there are times when she does certain things, and I have to wonder, did somebody say something to her about what's being done to me? Okay, because when she engaged in certain behavior, then I have to now question, does she know what's happening? So that's been a struggle. But I have not accused her of targeting me, so far yet, within the past couple months. Because I said I need to stop doing that. In order to, you know, not trigger her, because I've noticed that when I accuse her of it, it was triggering her, and so I had to stop it. Okay, because like I said, I don't want to. I hate to do these things to the people that are close to me, you know. But again, I still have to protect my mental state, right? Okay, yeah. So it's funny, because one thing also, your TI in a relationship with somebody who's not a TI, is that sometimes you feel that they're trying to take advantage of the situation because you are a TI and they know that, they feel like they're going to take advantage of the situation. And sometimes I feel like that. Right. So so I said to her, listen, if that's the case, then when you come home at night, I'll just go home. All right. And I started to do that, and then she does these little things, and she's very manipulative. I give her that in that way, and trying to get me to stay. And I stay because, listen, I know she's tired and stuff like that, and but it's hard for me. You know what I'm saying? Because it's hard if you're in a relationship with somebody, or once was in a relationship with somebody, and the dynamics have changed, but you have children together. Most men will just leave and just like, hey, you know what? I'll see the kids on the weekend and blah 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 and such. But I know that, not that she can't handle it, she doesn't want to. She doesn't want to get up early to get the kids dressed and take them to work on time. It's with her is always like, well, they'll get there when they get there. I'm not stressing over it. You know what I'm saying? There's no urgency when it comes to taking these kids to school on time with her. That's why, when I sleep at home and I come here the next day and I ask my son, I say, hey, how you guys make it to work? I mean, to school. They're like, we're late. When I ask her, she's like, oh, we made it okay. But my son always tells me the truth. Or he tells me the details. He doesn't just say, we made it okay. He tells me, he's like, yeah, we got to school late. We didn't get to school on time. Okay? And so, and I keep telling her, I said, you have a singular mentality. You know, you even when we were in a relationship, you act as if you were single, like you didn't have any kids, and you had kids. It's like you living in that dreamland when your reality is here. It's the real thing. Okay, and that's the problem with a lot of religious people, because she's religious too. She's a Christian. Is that they live in this dreamland, this fantasy, because they don't want to accept reality. They don't want to live in reality. Okay, because it's too hard. So they need their bubble. And you see in the video, I heard in the video her say that she doesn't care about the truth and she likes to live in her bubble. Okay, so that's just to show you, right? So, So you see what happened here? I said to her I was going to watch the kids, which was fine. All right. All I just asked her was, what time are you going to come back from this wedding? Because I need to go home. Then you see how her personality changed. She's like, well, whenever the wedding ends. So if the wedding ends at 12 o'clock at night, 1 o'clock at night, I'm supposed to be there. That means that I'm back to sleeping at your house, which you don't want to sleep with me in the bed because, I may put my arms around you, and I'm not going to sleep on one side of the bed, sleep on one side of the bed, and have my back turned at each other. No, and I'm definitely not sleeping on the couch. Okay, I've done that for too many years, right? So I said to her, I said, you want to have your cake and eat it too, and that's the truth. Okay, whether she wants to accept it or not, but that is the truth. And like I said, listen, I'm doing you a favor. All I ask you is to be back here by 11 o'clock so that way I can go home, so I can get, decent sleep. And she also told me, well, you don't work, you don't this and that. I said, but it doesn't matter if I work or not because it's my time. Just as how you talk about your space, okay, that you want your personal space. Okay, well, let me have my personal space, my personal time. Okay, because I have never asked her to watch the kids on my weekend, because that's my responsibility. But because she wants to go out and do all of this and that stuff, which is fine. And like I told her before, I said, do it on your weekend. And if it happens to fall on the weekend that you have the kids, get a babysitter. But she doesn't want to do that because she doesn't want to pay the babysitter. Then okay, you know what I'm saying? So it's like you again, I find myself compromising. I find myself compromising all the time. Okay, and maybe a big part of it has to do with me being targeted the way I'm targeted too. You know what I'm saying? And you see this guy across here, and they know what's going on. They know because they surveil us, so they know because the minute I stepped out of the house this morning, I knew I was going to be in for it. Okay. So he stands up there, and you see he has a white handkerchief, and the way how he holds the handkerchief is like he's waving the flag or what have you. But then he tried to mask it now by blowing his nose in it. Okay, and this is something that that they do. And there you go. And I had to put in her place at this point. I'm like, listen, this is my weekend by myself. I barely have that weekend to myself because even on my weekend to be by myself without the kids, I'm still over at her house. I'm still over here taking care of the kids while she lay in bed sleeping, while she's on the phone. Okay? And I ask her what time she's leaving the wedding, and then she remains silent. Okay? So, again, she's always telling me to respect her space and respect what she says. But then when it comes to me, she doesn't respect my space and respect what I say. All right. So at this point now, I just have to just say, listen, give me my respect. Same way how you want your respect in your space. Give you my respect in my space. When I say I gotta go home, don't be looking at me no way. Don't try to entice me with sex or anything like that to get me to stay. Let me go to my house. You know what I'm saying, don't come in the house talk about, oh, you're so tired. Can I go lay down for an hour or 2 hours? This is what she does. Okay. So she constantly disregard what I say, and then when I do the same to her, oh, it's it's fire and brimstone. Okay. And I mean, look, I love the woman. She's the mother of my two youngest. You know, and I would never disrespect her. You know what I'm saying? I've always supported her. always will, but sometimes, you got to, even as a TI, because like I said, because what they've done to your 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 mind, you tend to get into this mode where if you're in a relationship with somebody, because they've been used to manipulate you and to target you, you tend to become, an empty shell, a yes man or a yes woman, and so you have to reclaim yourself, your humanity. Just like she says to me, well, I have to reclaim myself, and I'm like, you've always had yourself, okay? You've always reclaimed yourself. What did you do? Okay, you went to college. I was watching the kids 99% of the time. Okay, right? I helped supported you to go to college, right? And then when you was graduating, you know, after you graduate, you start acting like you were too good. Your friends was telling you all of this. Oh, you know, you know, you got your college degree, whatever. You're a nurse, whatever. He's a bum, and that's all these. That's what black women, particularly black women, talk about black men. The fact that I'm on disability. She was talking about, well, I need somebody to help me with my bills, all these bills. I'm like, well, we don't live together. When I tell you, when I clean up your house and you dirty and I question you and I say, hey, why do you do this? You tell me this is your house. This is your apartment. You can't tell me what to do. So guess what? I don't clean up as often as I do. If I do clean, I'll clean the living room, I'll clean the bathroom. That's it. That's the majority of the time where I spend here. Okay? That's it. So this is what, you know, that I go through. And this happens every couple. And this is a cycle that keeps repeating itself. Okay? And every time like I said to her, I said, no, here we go again. This is the repeat of the cycle again. Where you start to act like this for whatever reason. And particularly when it's her weekend by herself, she do the discard. And for those of you who know what I'm talking about when I say discard, which is one of the traits that person who is narcissistic does to the other person. You know what I'm saying? And then she'll be like, well, I'm like, hey, how come you didn't call me? Well, it's my weekend by myself, and I, I don't need to talk to you. I don't need to talk to the kids. Like last Saturday, I called her. She was on the phone with her friend, and I called her back at 11:21. I said, hey, you said you was going to call me back. She's like, well, I was on the phone. I'm like, okay, you've been on the phone for 3 hours. The kids wanted to say goodnight. You could have just told the person, hey, I'll call you right back. I do it all the time. When she calls me on the phone with the other TI, I'll say, hey, I'm on the phone. I'll call you back. And within like 20 minutes or half an hour, I call her back. She won't call me back. She's like, well, the kids don't need to talk to me. I'm like, well, okay. This is what I deal with. Okay? Just so you guys know. All right. So anyway, let's move past this and let's continue on with this video. And this is a pretty long video, but can't make it any shorter. It's just too much to show. So dropped her off, and on my way back. Okay. So let's see who's here. Okay. All right. Here we go. So as I'm driving by, you see this Asian. She's Asian. I remember this one. She sticks her finger in her ears. Okay. Now you're gonna see another Asian young lady at the bus stop. As she sees me, she starts playing with her hair. Let's go. You'll see her hand raised right there. Okay, see that? And then she puts her hands down. So now they're using, Asian women consistently. Okay. All right. So again, let's go up here. All right. So here we go. So this woman walks to the cab and she points at me. All right. Again, this is the stuff that they do to get your attention. She points. Okay. And I'm going to tell you the reason why that's significant. Because again, it's to get my attention. Okay. So now you'll see the use of the police. All right, so you'll see these police officers. I don't know what they're picking up there, but you see the police officer comes from behind, not behind, but in front of the truck. Okay, he's gonna stick his fingers in his ears. See, he looks at his watch, and then he sticks his finger in his ears. Okay, then he sticks his finger in his ears again. All right, so at this point, let me try to uh, make this. Okay, I'm gonna try to zoom in this. This is the only way I can zoom it in so you guys can see better. Okay. Okay, let's do that. Let's move that over. Okay, all right. Okay, let me go back. So zoomed up a little better now. You'll see, because he sees me, he looks at his watch, then he sticks his finger in his ears. Okay? As he walks, he looks at his watch again, he sticks his finger in his ears. See that? Okay? So again, they try to be very sneaky about it and, uh, try to do it at a distance to where, because of the size of the sensor of the phone, they figure they can do it and get away with it, right? Little did they know that I can zoom it up. All right. Let's see if we can even get even. And I wish this software had a zoom feature, but it don't. I literally had to crop the video size and then stretch it up. Okay. So let's see that one more time. He sees me, comes out of the truck, looks at his watch. He does this. All right. Then you'll see, sticks his finger in his ears right there. Okay. Goes behind the truck, looks at his watch again, like that. Sticks his finger in his ears. So is the other guy here in the gray sweater. Look, sticks his finger in his ears. There you go. Does the same thing. And the guy in the gray sweater. So let's pay attention to the guy in the gray sweater because I'm not quite sure what he did. Okay. So what he did was this. He basically took his thumb and placed it against his forehead. And I talked about that before. And then the same officer walks across, touches his nose. Okay. Because again, you know why? Remote neural monitoring, microchip implanted in the brain. How did they implant it? Through the nasal passage. That's how they're been able to remotely monitor me. So that's what it's called, remote neural monitoring. Neural meaning the brain. Okay, remotely meaning wireless. Okay, and so now pulled up behind this vehicle, and this guy takes his hand, puts it out the window, and there's the palm of the hand. And now he takes his thumb, and you just saw that, right? See what he did with his thumb. Okay, let's go. So there he is, right there. Now you see me pulls up behind him. See his hands? Now he turns his hands as I approach him very slowly. Okay. Okay, he sticks his hands in his ears. Okay, it's all planned, all orchestrated. All right, so now what I need to do is I need to uh, put this back to, oops. So I need to put this back to its original size. This is what I have to do here. Okay. All right. And so now let's continue. Let's get to the next video. All right. So now, again, you'll see now they'll incorporate the number 32. If you look to the left, right beside this gray Mercedes, the E32, all right, the 320, number 32. Again, you know, see that now he reverses back. Okay, so at that point, I noticed the license plate number. Okay, so again, the reason why they do these things is to get my attention. Now, these vehicles, right, they were all in front of me, this one and that one, they all pulled over to the side. Why? Why? Okay, it wasn't because you know, they were turning, because this lane you have to turn left. Okay, but you know why? Because they wanted me behind this van, and look at the license plate, 3200. Number 32 is in there. Okay, so again, this is the stuff that they do. Okay, not done yet. Okay, so let's go right here. Go back too far. All right, that's fine. And so now you'll see this guy coming out of the bus stop. Okay, and you'll see the hand signals. Maybe I have to zoom in on this part again so you guys can get a better view. Okay, let's see here. Okay. Um, okay, it might be too much off the top. All right. Okay. Now I have to, you know, pause this multiple times so you guys can see. So he comes out. He knows, looking at me. It's all stage. Now you see the hand signal first. The let's go. Okay. So what he did is you'll see the peace sign facing down like that. And then, let's see if I can stop it exactly. I got to go back again. Um, I know. I wish this program had slow motion, but it doesn't. But I got to pause it at multiple times so you guys can see. All right. And then after, oh, I missed it. But he gave the middle finger first. Okay, so I couldn't really pause it at that point, but I'm just gonna move past. So he does the middle finger first, and then he does the peace sign, upside down peace sign. Right? Now, again, you'll see this ambulance here. Let me go back. I want you guys to pay attention. Okay, that you'll see the ambulance that's parked up there. Okay, and what they're going to do, because again, they'll always wait until I get close. So now you see the paramedics. Now he comes out. Okay, and this guy, let's go back slightly. The guy behind him, they both, he's standing there, and I think he had a newspaper in his hand or something like that. It looks like a newspaper, but they'll do that too. They use newspapers, you know. Right there. See how he flashed it back towards me? Now the paramedics walks off. Okay. And now, let's see, did I pass it? I might have passed it. Okay, right here. All right, so now after all of that, now you see the police. Okay. Remember, again, this is all stage. So now you'll see the police. Okay. And now you'll see this guy right here. He looks at his nail. This is what he's doing. Okay, let me see. He's doing this. He's looking at his nail, right? He's trying to act as if he's holding. Remember, I talk about masking technique. So, this is what they do. Particularly with the women perpetrators, when they walk past me, they'll look at me and then look at their nails. But again, they have to try and incorporate a masking techniques into it to try to bypass, my understanding of what subliminal uh, message that they've put into my head. Okay. All right. So now I'm on the block. Okay. And so I'm there in the car. I had to wait for 10 o'clock so I can leave. And of course, some targeting was going on as the perpetrator's walking back and forth. But I paused the video here because I wanted you guys to see this. To tell you guys about the actors that they use and have placed, in your neighborhood, on your block, or whichever block you frequently visit. All right. So you see this guy holding the walking stick. I guess he is blind, somewhat blind. Okay, but yet he comes out with this other gentleman. I shouldn't say gentleman, but this other man, and they start targeting me. So they stop. He looks at me. Okay, he's telling him exactly what to do because I'm right there. And now he starts doing these hand signals. Okay. All right, as you see here. Let's see if you can see it good. All right, so he has his hands in his pocket, and let me see if I can show you guys exactly what he was doing. So look how he looks at me. I don't think he's blind at all. I think he's, they have people, actors, stage doing these things. So he was walking towards me. Okay, let's see, you can do this. And as he's walking towards me, he does this, right? And then he does this. Okay, then he goes back, and I think he does this. Then he goes back and he does this. Okay, so this is the kind of thing that they do. And so now, this guy, the one beside him, and you can see he was looking at me, and he stands up right in my view. He looks at me as he's trying to light his cigarette. Okay, let me fix that. Okay, so again, why do they do these hand signals? Okay, it is because you, as a TI, including me, have been brainwashed. Okay, and it is brainwashing because it was done without our consent. Okay, in which someone had access to us, psychologically manipulated our mind without consent, implanted a microchip in our brain for experimental purpose. Okay, remote neural monitoring. All right, and then manipulated us to becoming the villain. It's very interesting. Yesterday I was watching Netflix Daredevil, and the character Wilson Fisk, how he masterfully manipulate individuals to doing his bidding. And this is what the architect of these programs are doing. This is what the government, the NSA, CIA, DOD, who are developing these mind control technologies, these microchip for remote neural monitoring. This is what they do. Okay, they create the villain that the public will hate, and the public will go along in stalking, harassing, hating those individuals who they have villainized. Okay, so I want people to understand this, especially targeted individuals. Understand what it is that you're dealing with, who you're dealing with, and what you're up against. But that doesn't mean that you have to succumb to their psychological bullshit. Okay, expose it. All right, when you expose it, you're going to expose them. Every time they attack you psychologically, physically, whatever, expose it. Okay, so now you'll see this guy comes out, another one in the neighborhood perps. And you see how the girl put her fingers in her ears, and he walks behind her, and he puts his fingers in his ears. See that? So again, we talk about subliminal, we talk about timing, and how they engage with what they call military precision. And this right there is a classic example of it. Okay, so let's go back again. Okay, so here she's walking up. Okay, now he comes out. She sticks her fingers in her ears, or playing with her and playing with her hair. Okay, he comes out. He sticks his finger in his ears. Okay, so again, this is what I'm talking about. Okay, uh, hey, you have to expose this. We have to expose this. We cannot let these individuals continue to go on doing this. And like I said, it could happen to another family member. It could happen to your children, in which they tell me that they're gonna do this to my kids. Okay, all three of my kids. My son, he was, this girl that I guess liked him, and he went out and maybe like 2 days with her. And so recently I asked him, I said, Bryce, what happened to the young girl that you were dating? And he was like, it's a mystery. I'm like, what do you mean it's a mystery? He was like, she went ghost, meaning she disappeared. So, you know, he's going to be off to college soon. I try to teach him the best way I can to observe these people, to not put himself in a situation in which people plan to do him harm, and to always be aware, to have situational awareness, and to not, fall into a lot of these traps. Okay, because for speaking out, they will go after you. If you have children, they will go after them. And if you're in a relationship or you're married, they will destroy or try to destroy your marriage or your relationship, just because you expose their evil ways. Okay, but hey, like I said, I'm gonna teach my kids about this stuff, and hopefully, they'll learn and be aware, and they can navigate through this life that they're gonna have, and being able to see the manipulation that people do around them, and they not get manipulated themselves. Okay, because they'll have the tools to protect their mind. Unless they microchip them. Which is probably what we're all heading to, in which everyone will probably have a microchip inside of them. And you can call it conspiracy theory all you want, but certain companies that if you want to work for, they require you to be microchip. Okay, so before you start running saying Nigel's a conspiracy theorist, I want you to do the research. Okay, well, that's it for the video. It was kind of long. I apologize for it being this long, but I have to. There's too many things I had to put in the video and explain what was happening. Okay, all right.